Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. Fear of missing out, FOMO they usually call it these days, is usually criticized when we say yes to a new opportunity when it's not in our best interest. For example, my friends invite me to join a road trip, and although I'm really busy with more important things, I fear missing out, and so I go. There's a less considered variant of FOMO, the fear of losing something you already have. Well, here are 5 examples and some thoughts on how to deal with it. First, regarding your job. In recent years, many employers have been converting jobs from full-time permanent to part-time and or temp gigs. That may be exacerbated by the COVID economic shutdowns remnants. So, understandably, if you're not an irreplaceable star employee, you may fear losing your job. Might one or more of the following boost your chances of staying employed and even of getting a raise or a promotion? Asking your boss for clarification on what he or she would like done. You may gain extra job security by asking your boss a question like, I have a bit of extra bandwidth. Is there anything I could do that would make your life easier? Working on developing a skill that you know would be appreciated by your employer. Getting assigned to an important project on which your contribution would be visible. Improving your attitude. For example, do you criticize unduly? Do you play gotcha in an attempt to gain power? Do you work less diligently than do most of your coworkers? Accepting the reality that security of employment is based not just on the merits, but on other factors, for example, being liked. To that end, do you need to do a better job of creating positive feelings with your coworkers? For example, do you give them all due credit for work and perhaps praising them in front of your boss or at a staff meeting? Or should you chat with them a bit more about professional and maybe even personal life? Conversely, do you have an enemy, perhaps a rival for a plum promotion or project who you need to neutralize? As Machiavelli said, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Another example of where we fear losing what we already have is fear of losing your romantic partner, whether it's to someone else or just because they're tired of you. Some people, ironically, increase the chances of their partner leaving by being clingy. Might any of the following be more likely to help you keep your partner? Making fewer demands, listening better, doing more of the things together that both of you enjoy and fewer of the things that you don't. For example, one of my clients has tried mightily for a decade to improve his marriage's sex life to no avail. Now, at age 38, he's decided to accept his marginal sex life as immutable and to spend more time with his wife doing what they enjoy: parenting, chatting, going out to dinner, and playing golf. Another area where we might fear losing what we already have is certainly in hoarding. Sometimes hoarding can be born in part from fear of losing material possessions. Even if you're not a hoarder but merely like to have a lot of material possessions, might it help to remind yourself that much of it may not be as important as you may have thought, like all those coffee table books and old National Geographics, or even those dishes that your grandparent bequeathed to you. And of course, if you really need some item later, you can usually replace it, often with something you like even better. Another thing we might be afraid of losing that we already have is food, interestingly enough. Some people eat very quickly, and that can just be an example of their tendency to do everything quickly. But eating fast could also be born, at least in part, of the prehistoric tendency, today manifest in most dogs, to wolf down food as quickly as possible so as to avoid some other animal snatching it. Are you losing out on much of eating's pleasure by eating too quickly? And finally, your life. As people get older, they see some of their physical or mental abilities declining. And some people get overly dispirited or worried about that, thereby, ironically, tainting the time they have left. Easier said than done, but might you find it worth the effort to focus on the positive, what you still can do, maybe using the fear of life slipping away to motivate you to make the most of each hour, maybe even each minute. The fear of missing out can be a positive force, motivating us to grab as much of life's good as possible. But it can also lead to poor judgment. That may be especially true in this variant of FOMO, fear of losing what you already have. Does reviewing the examples in what I've just offered you remind you of anything that you want to do differently? In any event, I do thank you for watching. I'm Marty Nemko. I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments, and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. And in any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.